Hi, I'm Amy Cecil. I'm the Programs Director for the Data Visualization Society. I'm here with Josephine Drew, who is part of the annual survey committee, and she's going to talk through the data from the 2021 State of the Data Visualization Industry Survey. So this is part 3 of a 3-part series, and in this part, she's going to talk through an end-to-end example of using the data. So I will now hand it over to Josephine.
Welcome. If you've made it to this video, you have probably watched 2 videos so far. And if you haven't, these are the questions they answer. And in this video, we're going to pick these questions that community members have expressed curiosity about and say, if this was my question, how would I go about figuring out which survey data fields would help me get at them? I will begin with the third one listed here, the pandemic one, simply as the simplest to answer, and then spend more time on the tool usage. The pandemic, as we all know, has affected 2 years. So we probably, and in fact, only need to look at 2 years of data. So to do a quick reminder, the best way to get at the material is to go to the Data Visualization Society survey or challenge pages, where you will get links to all of the stuff. And then the first link, the survey data, will take you to this file, which has links to everything else. The first set of links is the 2021 data. The second set of links has all past years data. So under the 2021 data, there are these diagrams that are visual. And if you click on one or both links, they will open a diagram that I preloaded so that we wouldn't have to wait. This one, there. So they will open this diagram and this diagram. And each of those shows the past 2 year surveys by topics. This one simply shows, the sequence one shows the survey in the order it was asked. The advantage of these diagrams is that you can look at the dark stickies for topics. And since we are interested in the pandemic, the work and COVID sticky is down here at the bottom left. And you can see that in the 2021 data, there were 4 different data fields that related to work and COVID, 2 very specifically, and you'll want to note the question number 43 and 41, so 40, 41, 42, 43, and then here in 2020, it was questions 63 to 65. So with that in mind, if that was my project, I would write down these question numbers and I would go to my copy of the data and take a look at those questions, maybe start with the dictionary. So dictionary for question 2020 or for 2021, it was question 40 something. We would have written this down. Here we go. Question 40, have you changed employment or how to change an employment status in the past year? Was the COVID pandemic and related economic crisis a factor? Are you currently looking for new employment opportunities? And a question that is new to 2021, has the pandemic negatively affected your compensation or benefits? And you can see here, there will be options. And then there is also a free entry field here where people could write in comments about that. And you will see there are 113 responses where people commented specifically. And then there are also these multiple choice responses, and all of them are in the data main table. So if we go to data main, we can use our control or command key arrow to jump over to, or you could always also run a find. Say, okay, I want to find question 40. There's question 40. And at that point, you can read this, or if you're using the CSV, you can just use the variables names, employee changed by COVID, employee new wanted, and COVID negative effects. And keep in mind that any variable name that has a single underscore in it, the underscore is a reminder that you need to deal with multiple data fields when you write your code. So that's that for the COVID, except you would do the same thing for the 2020 questions. Amy, do you want to see that, or do you think people will just be able to find that themselves without going through the same?
Yeah, I think we're good. Let's move on to the next question.
All right, so our next question of interest was, what do people want to learn next? So going back to the diagram, we see there is a sticky here called Data Viz Learning. And we would write down the question numbers. Well, this one is about top skills to improve, top methods for data visualization education. PD Fund, if we're not sure what that is, we could go look at question 12. PD is professional development fund. And data visualization go-tos, which is about leaders or inspiration, depending which year the question was asked. So we would write down those numbers, and then we would go and look at this point, since those are potentially 5-year questions. Actually, let's make sure we know. Amy, of these 4 questions, maybe pick 2 that you would be curious about.
Let's look at leaders and let's look at your top skills to improve.
All right, so we would write down question 47 and question 44 for 2021 as our anchor. 47 and 44. We'll jump here to the 5-year dictionary and go to the view for 2021 to save us time. So in the 2021 view, we will go to question 44 and 47. So here's the column for 2021. I'm sorry, guys, I know this is complicated, but there's a lot of data. Question 44, what we discover is there were 4 years of data on that, which is great. We also find out that there was some kind of change in every single year since the cells are colored dark. So we can scroll right and see, we can read the questions. I aspire to be better at. What area is your next priority? What area is your next priority? Okay. And what area is your next priority? So the question didn't change, which means something about the response might have changed. So here you get the details about how the response to change. And just to save you guys time, if you're interested in this particular one, what happened here is that the responses got more complicated starting in 2019, not more complicated, there were more of them, 6 of them, so 3. And in 2020, you were able to pick more than one of the options. If it says categorical, it means you could pick 1. If it says up to something, it means you could pick as many as you wanted. So that's what's going on with the what do you want to improve next? In the leaders question, that was question 47, and we have 5 years of data. And it looks like the first 4 years, it was pretty much asked the same. Who do you look to as a thought leader in data visualization? Who do you look to as a thought leader? And who do you find helpful for inspiration? And then what you learn is it was free input all 5 years. So if you like doing natural language processing, you could have a lot of fun with this one. All right, so we're ready for the 3rd example. We did how has the pandemic affected? What do people want to learn next? Data visualization tool usage. This is of great interest and great complexity. I think maybe the fastest way, or maybe not the fastest way, but the most reliable way to do this might be to do this, where you create your own filter view in the 5-year dictionary. And always go to the data menu to create a filter view. And then what you want to do is you want to put in A3 as your first cell, because that'll use the headers as your filters here. Now you are ready to filter this view. And if you do a search in this column, the variable names, clear it, and then just put in the word tool. Select all. Okay. And you find that there are 5 different survey questions about tools, and that 2 of them were specific to freelance or employees, but they were asked in different years. So these are all your question options for tools. And let's just quickly see what the questions were. Are you able to choose your own tools? What technologies do you use to visualize data? And then this year we asked for the first time, what type of problems do you encounter when clients choose the tools? And if you look at the dictionary for the year, you'll see that this question was asked if in the first question, people indicated that they have, they encountered problems with tools that were chosen for them. So that's a quick overview of strategies you could use to research different topics of interest like this. Again, we would love to hear your questions in Slack if you have any, and we hope you have a lot of fun with this data. There is this much of the data.
Thanks for walking us through that, Josephine. I think that's really helpful and will give people a great starting point. This concludes the 3rd part of our 3-part series, talking about the state of the industry data visualization survey.
Well, we can't wait to see what people will find and do with this data.
Yes, we're very excited for the challenge, and we're looking forward to doing this again in 2022.
Until then.
Thanks.
Hi, Amy.